Hello everyone, my name is Zane Foy, and today I will be teaching you how to prepare a horse to be saddled and then how to saddle it so that you can ride it casually around. The first step in preparing your horse is to make sure that he's all nice and brushed down, especially at this time of year. They are losing a lot of hair of their winter coats, so you really want to make sure that you brush all over and get all that loose hair off. This just makes it more comfortable for the horse once you put the saddle on. Just make sure everything sits right and helps with making sure he doesn't sweat too much and get sores and things like that. Alright, so after you have your horse nice and brushed off, the next step is to clean out their feet. So as you can tell, I have a little tool here. It's called a hoof pick, and it's just a little piece of metal that you use to dig out all the mud and rocks and things from your horse's hooves, which just makes it more comfortable for them to walk, especially when they're carrying you on their back. So what you do is you grab down on the front of the horse's leg, and it will know to pick up its foot because they have been trained to do so. And so after you get its foot picked up, you just look and see anywhere there's a lot of dirt or rocks or anything crammed in there, and you make sure to scrape it all out. You want to be careful not to scrape too far into their foot and give them a cut or anything like that, but just make sure that you get all 4 feet nice and cleaned out. Alright, so now we are ready to actually start the saddling process. So the first step is to put on the saddle blanket. Make sure that it's nice and even and that the front of the blanket comes up just to about their shoulder. And after you have that situated, you're going to take your saddle, pick it up, and just kind of throw it over the top, making sure that all the straps and things get over and that they don't get stuck underneath. Once you have it on, make sure you adjust it and just get it all nice and situated. The more evenly you can get it sitting and the flatter you can get it sitting on the horse's back, the more comfortable it will be for them and the more enjoyable ride you will have. So as you can see here, on this particular occasion, I actually didn't get all the straps completely all the way over. In an ideal situation you would, but if you don't, it's not a big deal. Just reach under, grab it, and pull them out before you proceed. Alright, so now that your saddle is nice and situated, the first strap you're going to do up is the front cinch. You always want to do this one first because if in the worst case your horse gets loose or something, this one is the one that is the tightest, and it should be able to keep the saddle on its own even if you don't have the other ones tightened up. So what you're going to do is just take your strap and loop it through the metal loop on the cinch, pull it tight, and hook it. You want to make sure it's pretty tight. You don't want too much room between the strap and the horse. The next step is to do the back cinch. So this is similar to the front cinch, except for it doesn't need to be nearly as tight. You just want it touching the belly of the horse. So just make sure that you do that one. This should be the second step, and then the last step is the breast collar, which goes in front of the horse. Just bring it around the front and it'll hook right near the front cinch on your saddle, and then it'll hook underneath on the bottom of the front cinch as well. Now that your saddle is on and secured, the next step is to put on the head stall and reins. So while you're doing this, make sure that you're next to your horse and ready if he decides that he wants to walk away, as you will have to take the halter off. Then hold it up to his mouth. There's a little metal bit that goes in his mouth over his tongue, and then there will be a chain that goes under his chin, and you just pull it up and then loop it on the back of his ears. This current head stall has a little loop for one of his ears to go in, so if you have that, make sure that you get that, and then just throw the reins over, and you are now pretty much ready to go. Now, one other thing you can do, and that I personally do every single time, is put these little black bow boots on. They're just to protect your horse from kicking his own feet, nicking his feet, things like that. They're mostly for running, but I do it every time. The purple things that you see attached to the stirrups also add extra protection, but they're mostly for competition, so we won't put them on here. Alright, so we are now ready to mount our horse. Grab a hold of the saddle securely. Place your foot in the stirrup and use it to boost yourself up and get on as quickly as possible as to not put too much strain on one side of the horse. And now you are ready to ride. Congratulations on saddling your horse.